Okay, human design strategy, wait for the invitation. Let's talk about it. The following clip is an excerpt from my Projector Magic Masterclass. If you would like access to the full masterclass where I talk about projectors in relationships, manifestation, business, parenting, communication, and a lot more, I go through the entire energetic type, then click the link in my description box, and I hope you enjoy it. So this is what I like to call your magic wand. Okay, and projectors, you're a little bit unique in the fact that you don't just have one, you have three. And the way that I see it, you have three magic wands. Okay, so this is how you create the things that you want, cut through all the noise and all the conditioning by waving your magic wand or by following your strategy. So, number one, well, I don't want to number them because they're all equally important, but the information here generally is projectors wait for the invitation. Now, we talked about this a little bit when we talked about your aura, right? But the reason why waiting for the invitation is so important is because you essentially have X-ray vision, right? You see things and you see people very, very clearly. So imagine, and we did this in the aura activation, if you remember, imagine that you are wearing X-ray glasses, or just like your retinas, right, are a little tiny X-ray machine. And say you're looking at someone, you see them, like you see their clothes, their face, like their outward external expression, right? And then imagine that your eyes, they shift into X-ray mode, and then you see through their clothing. So now you're seeing them naked. You're seeing their underwear. You're seeing their, private areas. That is what your aura is doing constantly. You see into the core of people, into the core of things and systems. This is what makes you so efficient. This is what makes you such a good guide, because you have this penetrating aura. You have this almost X-ray vision. The problem is not everyone is ready to be seen in that way by you. So when you are not waiting for the invitation, when you are just handing out advice and wisdom all willy-nilly, you're essentially walking up to someone who you may or may not have any kind of rapport with and saying, hey, I can see your underwear. I can see you naked. There was a line in Mulan. What was the line? He said, Mushu says to Mulan, my eyes see straight through your armor. And she slaps him. That is what it's like being a projector. You are seeing people's underwear, and when you're not waiting for the invitation, you're telling them, hey, I see you naked. I see all your flaws. Not everyone is ready to hear that, okay? Not everyone wants to know that you can see them naked, right? Not everyone wants for you to see their underwear. So what you're doing when you're waiting for the invitation is you're waiting for them to be ready to be seen by you. You're waiting for them to be ready and to be receptive to what it is that you have to say. Because most of the time, and this is the thing that fucks projectors up, is because when you say something to someone, you're not lying. And most of the time, you're not wrong. Like if you say something to someone like, hey, you need to, just like a general example, you need to work on your daddy issues. You're probably not wrong, but that person wasn't ready to hear it. They weren't ready to be receptive to what you have to say because you did not wait for the invitation. And that's not on them, that's on you. Okay? So waiting for the invitation protects you. It protects your mental health, really, and it protects your self-esteem, right? It protects you from getting into a situation where you're going to be slapped, or you're going to be rejected, or you're going to be misunderstood. It protects you from that. So you really have to learn how to wait for that invitation. Wait for someone to invite you to see their underwear. Wait for them to ask you, what is your opinion on this? If you were me, what would you do? What would you do in this situation? How can I be better? You need to wait for some kind of invitation from them to hand out your wisdom, to hand out your advice, right? This is really, 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 really important. And it's going to keep you from getting into these kinds of situations where your insight and your wisdom is not appreciated. And going along with that, when it comes to invitations, you need to be discerning, because people are going to come to you with problems and things that you may not feel equipped to help them with. And if that's the case, if you're being invited, to help on something that you actually don't think you can do, that is not the invitation for you. And this happens a lot to projectors when they aren't being seen or they aren't being recognized in the way that they want to be. They'll jump on every single invitation because they just want to help, but you're jumping on invitations that are not aligned. If someone comes to you and they want a nutrition plan and you are not a nutritionist, you are not a registered dietitian, you don't know anything about making a plan like that, that is not the invitation for you, sweetness. It's not. That is not for you. And you get to decline that invitation. Because waiting for the invitation also means waiting for the aligned invitation. Yeah? So, I hope that makes sense. That is waiting for the invitation. Your other magic wand that you really need to make sure you're being conscious of is your self-value. Projectors have a really nasty habit of seeking external validation. Because you see things so clearly, you have this deep desire, this deep need, really, to be seen. You need to be seen by others. You need to be recognized by others. You need to be called out for your wisdom and for your advice. You need that. You're a guide. That's what you require as a guide, because a guide is not a guide without people to guide, right? So you have a deep desire to be seen. But in order for you to be seen by others, you first need to see yourself. You first need to see your own value, your own merit, your own worthiness. Because if you only seek it from outside sources, that is not going to be sustainable. It will push you into bitterness, which we're going to talk about later in the masterclass. Okay. So I don't want to say every single day. I personally think every single day is a good idea. But again, if that doesn't feel aligned for you, then whenever it feels aligned, you need a self-value practice. You need time and space when you are consciously and intentionally bringing light to the things that you are good at, bringing light to your value, to your inherent worthiness, not the things that you've worked for, not the things that you've struggled for, not the things that you've hustled for. No, why are you inherently worthy? Why are you inherently valuable? You need to consistently be bringing your attention and your consciousness to that. Because when you recognize your own self regularly, you are going to attract people who will then be able to recognize you as well. It's going to be sustainable because it's coming from you first. You're not jumping around from person to person to person, begging for recognition, begging to be seen. That's not what you want to do. So you have to see yourself first. Finally, number 3, your other magic wand is honing your zone of genius. Your zone of genius is your magic wand. It is the magic that you are here to spread. All right? You need to consistently be, what's the word I want to use? Not up-leveling, but working on the things that you are naturally good at. Whatever your skill is, whatever your thing is, you want to constantly be building your knowledge, building your understanding, trying new things out, whatever. And this can also relate to your profile, right? You want to constantly be spending time with your zone of genius, getting better, learning more, right? Like, for example, I use this example all the time. My cousin is a dating coach, and she's fantastic. And she is constantly studying. She's constantly researching and looking at, the new things. She's polling her audience. She's having conversations with people in her field. She's constantly learning more so that she can be a better coach. And this works for whatever your zone of genius is. If you're an artist, you need to be, doing your painting, doing your sculpting, whatever it is, right? If you're a coach, you need to be building your knowledge, right? If you're a writer, you need to be writing, honing your zone of genius consistently, and then showcasing that. Because again, you need to be seen as a projector. If you're not being seen, if people don't know who you are, that you exist, there's no one for you to guide because they don't know that you exist. So you need to hone your zone of genius and you need to showcase your zone of genius in a public way so that people can see you and invite you to guide them, invite you to help them. So I hope this was helpful. And I will go ahead and see you in the next module. So I hope you enjoyed this snippet of my Projector Magic Masterclass. If you are interested in getting the full Masterclass, I have linked it in the description box, and I will see you in the next video.